the Capitol Hill police filed a major brief trying to end our case, saying, in essence, well, not in essence, quite literally, that the Capitol Hill videos are not public records. And they list, I lost track of how many reasons they listed as to why they can't get it, why we can't get the records. We have litigation in federal court against the Capitol Hill Police, the Congress of the United States, effectively, for videos and emails concerning January 6th. You've heard about those 14,000 hours of video of the January 6th disturbance. Well, we sued for them. We asked for them under the common law right of private access, the common law right of public access to government documents. And when I say common law right of public access to government documents, I mean this is a right that you have inherently as a citizen of a polity, as a citizen of our great nation. It's a right that predates the Constitution, God-given right, of course. So what has Congress said to us in response? The Capitol Hill Police filed a major brief trying to end our case, saying, in essence, well, not in essence, quite literally, that the Capitol Hill videos are not public records. And they list, I lost track of how many reasons they listed as to why they can't get it, why we can't get the records. United States Capitol Police camera security system, including footage recorded within the Capitol and sought by Judicial Watch, is solely for national security and law enforcement purposes. Access to video footage from the camera's security system is limited to narrow circumstances and strictly controlled by U.S. Capitol Police policy. USCP has not made any public disclosure of video footage from January 6th from its camera security system. Well, that's funny. I thought it was used during the impeachment of Trump, selectively so. They are currently pending criminal investigations and prosecutions of individuals involved in the events of the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. They're currently pending congressional investigations into the events. And they said their interests in the confidentiality of the videos outweigh our interests or any public interest in the release of that material. It's pretty incredible stuff, isn't it? I read the brief. It was manicked and panicked, in my view. That's not my legal analysis. It's my informal analysis. And what they're saying here is that we want to use these videos for our own purposes, but you can't have them. And what the Congress is saying to us, and what they've said collectively through the impeachment abuse of President Trump, through Pelosi's justification for her authoritarian, totalitarian type investigation of January 6th that involves only one party in a two-party system. I mean, it shows you can have a one-party state in a two-party system. They said that January 6th was the worst day in American history, worse than 9/11. And yet we can't see documents about how that day transpired. We can't see videos. We just have to trust them. So I don't know what the court's going to do here, but to cut to the chase, the U.S. Capitol Police is hiding a reported 14,000 hours of video, January 6th video, from the American people to help Nancy Pelosi's abusive targeting of Trump supporters and other political opponents. Any other police department in America would be investigated and defunded for such abusive secrecy. So the Capitol Hill Police tells us they are a creature of Congress and therefore should be immune from scrutiny here. So this case shows that the Pelosi Congress is involved in a cover-up. It's in a cover-up mode as it relates to January 6th. And it's only Judicial Watch who's in federal court demanding these records under law. Now, defendants in the January 6 prosecutions, which by much evidence is abusive as well and politicized. They're seeking these videos too. But Congress says they're not public records. But the videos were introduced to try to impeach and, well, I guess he was already out of office, punish President Trump. And you know why this is so interesting, at least to me? Because there's a story out this week that may have come out today from Reuters. The FBI or people close to the FBI are leaking that there's no evidence that there was any coordination or any grand conspiracy for an insurrection that day. That it is as we saw it was. People came up to the Capitol. The police and security were insufficient for the crowd, and troublemakers in the crowd saw an opportunity and committed some violence. And others committed pushed into the Capitol in violation of law, and others walked into the Capitol. They were being told that was in violation of law, but that remains to be seen in some respects. I don't necessarily buy that. But there was no grand conspiracy. They impeached Trump on a lie. They're targeting conservatives based on a lie that we're all involved in a conspiracy to overthrow our Constitution and our government, and that was effected through that disturbance on January 6th. And the FBI is admitting, well, there's no there there. Of course, they've already known that. And forgive me for being cynical, I think they're trying to turn down the heat because they're afraid the heat will come onto them. It wouldn't surprise me even if they turned down the heat a little bit in the Pelosi investigation. Well, until necessary. Because as we're highlighting here, it's Pelosi who needs to be investigated. Because the collapse of security, just like the collapse of security in Afghanistan, is the result of decision-making by the political leadership on the Hill. There's never an issue of capacity in providing security, not in this great nation of ours, thank God. There's never a capacity issue. Literally never a capacity issue. So when Joe Biden says, or his defense secretary says, well, we don't have the capability of moving beyond the airport to rescue Americans, no, that's not true. He doesn't have the will to order the resources necessary to go out to do it. And we could have had security around the Capitol to prevent any violence at all. And they don't want us to focus on that. And we're seeing it in our federal lawsuit. This is one of 6 or 7 lawsuits we have about January 6th and the aftermath. And we're focused on the real truth, or the real questions that people ought to be focused on, which is, how did it happen in terms of the security collapse? We want the details of those who died, meaning who shot Ashley Babbitt. Tell us more about the cover-ups related to the death of Officer Sicknick. And we want to know the abuses that took place by the FBI, Nancy Pelosi, and others using January 6th as a pretext in terms of taking up bank records, monitoring social media through the post office, undermining our military chain of command with Pelosi and Milley conspiring together in a seditious way. We're suing about that information. So we're on it. We're on it. I tell you what, I'm impressed. I know I'm president of Judicial Watch. I should be impressed, but I'm just impressed as a citizen that there's a group doing this. That's as objective as I can be. And I hope you're impressed as well.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.